Are you feeling the vibes? Are you feeling the song? Are you feeling the latest rhythms from Great Man to Kid? I will break the jugular. And if you are wondering why I am so excited and dancing, it's because for the past 16 years, God has empowered us at the Purpose Center to break the jugular of the enemy over the lives of several thousands of young people across Africa. The man that you are choosing is going to be the father of your children. So you are not just marrying just to change your name. You're not just marrying to go from Miss to Mrs. A vagabond. You may just be choosing a Nabal to be the father of your children. Nabal in the Bible was the husband of a woman called Abigail, and he was a complete fool. Though he was rich financially, but he was a complete fool. So you don't make permanent decisions in temporary situations. So that's what happened to Abigail. She chose Nabal. The circumstances surrounding her. So thank you so much, Uncle Tony. That's what we call him. He was such an instrumental man in my journey with God. And then for 7 years I served in the capacity as the general secretary of that church, but in the youth wing. But those 7 years were my foundation years in leadership and learning about teenagers, learning about administration. Leader in that house. Our core identity in Davis Christian Center is that we are wired to win. We are giant killers, and the journey of mentor-mentee relationship began 2005 or 2004. Before I became a Davis Christian Center member. Then, in 2009, while serving under this great man of God, God spoke to me clearly in the month of July 2009, Purpose Discovery Academy. And that academy today has metamorphosed into a mobile app. We have the Purpose Discovery curriculum on a mobile app. You can go to Google Play Store and download our mobile app. If you are an Android user, we'll get it very soon on Apple Play Store, so that at the tip of your fingers, wherever you are on the salt of the earth, not the salt of your local church, not the salt of your community, not the salt of your state of origin, not the salt of your nation or country, not the salt of your continent, but the salt of the earth. What he was saying with that statement is that once you find God's personal purpose for your life, you would unlock the power within you that will make you be tasty like salt. Salt is needed in every kitchen, in every country, in every nation. Ask all women that cook. Salt is a relevant commodity. So have you seen a banana or a plantain bunch before? A bunch of banana, a bunch of plantain. You see that each of those fingers of plantain, one cannot stay alone. It's connected to that bunch, right? If it breaks out from that bunch, it will lose connection to the tree and the nutrients. So you must find the destiny location that you ought to function from, right? So that's why apples don't grow in Africa, for example. Not every seed is meant to be planted in every kind of environment. So you can't just uproot yourself from your nation of birth and just want to take off to where look. You can type it in the comment section. I was made for more. I was made for more. You were designed by God to live a life of impact at first contact. You solution and not a problem. You must not join the queue or the crowd or cluster of people who live on the earth wondering what's going on. Why has the government not done this? Why has this person not done this? Why is this not happening? But the ultimate question is, what are you supposed to contribute to the human race? God said to the first set of human beings, male and female, created he them, and he said to them, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue the earth, and then take dominion. And I will hand dominion over to you when I see you go from this first level of personal productivity, be fruitful, then multiply. That's corporate profitability through the pages of scriptures. And so let's get right into it. Number one, if you are going to live a life of impact, live a life of legacy, you have to face your fears. You have to face your fears. Face your life's greatest fear. You must confront it. David was asked by his father to take food supplies to his brothers at work. You have to face your fears. You have to face your fears. You have to face your fears. Type in the comment section, I will face my fear. So what are you afraid of? What is your greatest fear? You know, the Bible says, 2 Timothy 1:7, God has not given you the spirit of fear, but rather He has given us the spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And fear is present in any human being when light is absent. The absence of light on any subject in any area is going to be automatic. Fear will be present there. Fear will be present. Fear is like a dark room. When light is absent, darkness, if you want to cast out darkness, all you have to do is introduce the light. You don't need to pray. So you have to face your fear. How do you face your fears? You get light. You get light. You get light on that thing you are afraid of. And that light must come from God Himself. It must be a light inspired or illuminated by a revelation of who God is. David went after Goliath because he had a God consciousness, though he was 17. His God consciousness was a very, very strong one. He looked at Goliath as a problem too big to miss. The soldiers of Israel looked at Goliath as a problem too big to hit. When fear fills your heart, you will look at the opportunity God has designed for your upliftment, and what you will see will be the difficulties surrounding it or difficulties in it. All right. So pessimists are those who see difficulties in opportunities. Optimists are those who see possibilities even in difficult situations. If you are going to live a life of impact, a life of legacy, you must face your fears. You must face your fears. You must face an attack that spirit has attacked the entire human race. Immediately Adam committed treason and disobeyed God, fear gripped his heart. Adam took his madam, and two of them quickly sewed leaves all around their bodies to cover their nakedness. Fear would strip you naked. It will strip you of your royal identity. Fear will make you begin to beg human beings for what God has already promised that is yours, right? So you must face your fears. Why do people beg for money? Because they are afraid. They think that when they work or start a business, that nobody is going to give them a job. Nobody is going to buy from them. When you are afraid of lack, you will be afraid to give. The fear of lack is the beginning of poverty. So you must face your fears. Why are some people not started their true vision, their life's dream? Why have you not written that book? Why have you not written that song? Why have you not started that business? It is fear that maybe nobody's going to patronize me. Nobody's going to buy the book. Nobody's going to buy the song. What if they buy it? Face your fears. Dr. Miles Monroe asked this question when he was alive. He said, where do you think is the richest place on the earth? So the richest place on the earth is not the diamond mines in Liberia. It's not the oil wells in Saudi Arabia. It's not the gold mines. He mentioned South Africa. He mentioned different places where there were, phenomenal natural resources. And he gave this shocker, which ignited my desire to live a life of impact, live a life of purpose, and live to the very last chapter of my life. He said, and I quote, the wealthiest place in the universe or on the earth is actually the cemetery, the graveyard. Because millions, possibly billions of people, they died with books not written, songs never sung, businesses not built, ministries not pursued, agendas, inventions, innovations not invented because they were afraid that nobody would buy. They were afraid of rejection. They were afraid that people will laugh at them. If you succeed, people will laugh. If you fail, they will mock you more. So it's better you face your fears and succeed. Be like David. David ran towards Goliath, not away from him. David ran to him, not away from him. Face your fears. Number 2, for you to live a life of impact, and for you to do this, you must ask for the rewards behind the fear line. You must ask for the rewards. All the soldiers were in fear because of what Goliath had been saying. I'm going to kill all of you. I'm going to feed your bones to the birds of the air. He said so many fearful things for 40 days. He terrorized them and he crippled their initiative. But thank God for the rookie called David. David landed on that war scene, and he heard Goliath's words. He was provoked in his spirit. I'm going to kill this guy. But the next thing he did was he asked for the rewards. Verse 26 of 1 Samuel chapter 17. He asked, what will be given to the guy that will kill this naughty giant? Yes, the problems that you are afraid of are actually afraid of you. Satan knows that he is powerless. He has been whipped silly by Jesus Christ. Ephesians chapter 4, I think from verse 4, the Bible says there unequivocally that Jesus led the captivity captives. He whipped Satan right in his home ground. He beat him silly. He took the keys of death from him and took back the treasures he stole from Adam. And the Bible says he led captivity captive. Jesus knew that going through the cross was going to be very difficult. But he also knew so for the joy that was set ahead of him, he faced the cross. Jesus crossed the cross. He embraced his own cross. He knew the reward, and that reward was you and I, set free from the shackles of death, shackles of sin, living again as children of God. That was Jesus' motivation for going to the cross. Jesus knew that he was made for more. In John chapter 6, he kept saying, I came down from heaven not to fulfill my will, but the will of the Father. But he knew what the reward was. And for the joy that was set ahead of him, he endured the shame. Ask for the rewards so that you can be motivated to move forward. David asked for the rewards. What will be given to the man or woman, as the case may be, that kills this Goliath? Ask for the rewards. Sit down and just imagine that this dream of mine, what if I'm able to just build it and establish it on the earth? What if just 10,000 people begin to patronize this idea? What if it grows from 10,000 to 100,000 customers? What if from 100,000 customers it grows to 1 million subscribers? What if it grows from 1 million subscribers and it becomes 10 million people? What if it grows and it becomes 100 million people? What if it becomes a global movement? Imagine if Mark Zuckerberg never founded Facebook. Imagine if the person that founded Twitter never went on the first tweet. Imagine if Instagram was not created. Imagine if everything you are enjoying right now, the people that produced it never produced it. Just ask for the rewards. Just imagine. Go on a trip in your imagination. The only nation where all things are possible is the nation called imagination. Use your imagination correctly. If you can achieve it in your mind, you can achieve it with your hands. If you can conceive it in your mind, you can actually achieve it with your hands. Ask for the rewards. Sit down and visualize your dream life. It's worth the sacrifice. Listen, write this statement down. Write this down. What I want to say now, you need to write it down in your journal or in a book. Write what I want to say right now. Write it down. I'm waiting for you to grab your pen before I say, write it down, write it down, write it down. I want to say something very powerful now. Write it down. You need a pen. Oh, Mo Oladapo, Africa's #1 top performance coach. Thank you for joining. I'm talking about Made for More and the celebration of the 16th year anniversary of the Purpose Center Global Outreach and the Purpose Discovery Academy. So I'm about to say something very powerful now. Get a pen. Once you have your pen, let me know in the comment section that you have your pen. I want to say something right now. You need to write it down. You need to write it down. You need to write it down now. This is the statement. What it will cost you to fulfill your vision, to start your vision and fulfill it, to run, to pursue your purpose. What it's going to cost you something, right? But it will cost you more if you don't pursue your dreams. The cost of fulfilling your vision is not as high as the cost of not pursuing God's vision for your life. If you're going to live a life of impact, live a life of legacy, you might be asked by God at a season of your life to quit a job, to quit, to come out of the boat like Peter, leave what looks stable and come into the realm of instability, come into the realm of uncertainty. That is what keeps a lot of people afraid. It keeps them hanging on to what they can see, and they forget that there is much more in the realm of the invisible. You have to let go of your fear by facing it. Then you have to ignite the engine of the vehicle of your vision by asking for the rewards. The reward is not money. The reward is not money. Money is the least of the riches in the school of vision. Money is the last born. There are 12 riches of life. Jesus said it in Luke 16. He said, when you have been found to be faithful in little, then you will be faithful in much. Then when you are faithful in what is another man's vision, then you will get the true riches. Oh, when David heard what the king had promised, that the man who kills Goliath is never going to pay taxes again in Israel. Ooh, the juices within his spirit began to flow. The adrenaline began to pump. The energy of faith began to rise. The creativity in his hands began to get into shape. I don't know if you watched Voltron, the cartoon Voltron. When I was much younger, there was a cartoon called Voltron, where the five lions will come together, and they will pam pam param pam param pam pam param pam param pam pam pam. And now black lion comes together, blue lion, red lion, yellow, and then there's a particular lion that forms the head. I always love that part. Say, and now I'll form the head. And Voltron will now do this sign. And that's, there's trouble in the camp of the enemy. There is a reward once you decide to move forward with God's plan, God's instruction, God's vision for your life. You were made for more than bread and butter issues. You were made to solve the problem in your nation. Whether you're in Alaska, Madagascar, America, or whether you feel that you are stuck here in Nigeria, there is a path that leads to a lifetime of rewards that God has been nudging your heart to pursue. I met my wife in the path of pursuing purpose, and I'm so grateful to God that I met this fantastic, phenomenal woman 6 years ago. We'll be 6 years in marriage now. If I have not been walking in purpose, I would have probably still been single. I would have married my neighbor's wife or my landlord's wife or someone else's wife in destiny. And that's where people have issues in marriage, because you didn't marry for purpose, you married for convenience. You didn't marry for vision, you married for television. You didn't marry for values, you married for valuables. You didn't marry for character, you married for mascara. You didn't marry for your future location, you married for your current satisfaction. And that creates long-term dissatisfaction. So ask for the rewards. When you ask for the rewards, then you need to now sit down and create a victory list. In the school of psychology, they'll tell you to create a bucket list. But what you must do if you are going to live a life of impact, if you want to go into something bigger than you sit down and check your past records of victory. David said to King Saul, I once killed a bear. I also killed a lion. And the same God that helped me is going to help me again. You must keep your records of victories. You must keep your victory list. That's what I call it. Create a victory list that will give you faith for this new journey you are about to embark on, for this new task you're about to embark on, for this new assignment, for this new season. You need to create a victory list and allow the memories of victories from your past, let it fuel your heart rather than the memories of fear or the pictures that fear creates. That what if you are killed? What if you die? What if you start a business and it fails and it collapses? What if you get married to this person God is asking you to marry and you never have money, enough money to eat? You were made for more. You are not on this earth just for food. You are not an FFO for food only. Man must not live by bread alone. Man must live by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. And your purpose has what I call inbuilt prosperity. Your purpose has the power to attract wealth and riches to you, but you must move out of your comfort zone. You must start that vision now. You must go to the next level of that vision now. You must move to the next gear of that vehicle of vision. You must increase the speed at which you are moving. Time is of essence. You don't have the rest of your life to make the most of your life. So create a victory list. And then letter T, if you are going to live a life of impact, because you are made for more, you talk boldly, you talk big, you speak yourself up. You don't allow naysayers talk you out of this path of greatness that you have chosen to walk. David spoke over 150 words back to Goliath. Goliath spoke about 20 or 35 words to keep David in a box of fear. He wanted to box him down. He looked at him and said, look at this skinny, thin, small teenager coming at me with sticks and stones. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to cut off your head. And David didn't allow Goliath to land. David took over the conversation right from Goliath's mouth. He snatched the conversation from his mouth and he spoke back at Goliath. You must talk down your fears. You must talk down the problem. You must undress that problem and expose it to the power of God. You must make your God bigger than the situation. That is the key to acceleration of your vision. You must talk boldly. You must talk big. You must talk God. You must talk boldly. You must talk big. And you must talk God. You must talk boldly. You must talk big. You must talk God. Psalm 81 verse 10. God said in Psalm 81 verse 10, he said, open your mouth wide and I will fill it. If you're going to live a life of impact, you must be a man who is audacious. You must be a woman who is audacious in your speech, in your words. You must talk big. You must be a person who can articulate vision with confidence, with boldness. You know, one of the speeches that are unforgettable in the history of humanity is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech of I Have a Dream. That was a legacy speech. That was a legacy talk. And now this man was not just a free talker. He lived a life of legacy to the point that he died for that dream. And 50 years after, another black boy from Kenya who became an American citizen became the first black man in the White House 50 years after, because Dr. Martin Luther King decided to challenge the status quo in his days, challenge the wrong treatment of the black community in America. America prides themselves as the free nation where there's freedom of opportunities and freedom to express yourself. But at that time, though it was in their constitution, it was not how they were living. But one man rose up to challenge that negativity. There's somebody watching this video now. You are meant to challenge the negativity in your community. You are meant to challenge negativity in your family. You are meant to challenge negativity in Nigeria, in Africa, in Somalia, in South Africa, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Namibia. You are meant to challenge the negativity in your workplace. That could be the starting point of you fulfilling God's grand purpose for your life. You must start from a local sphere because you become a global champion, global renowned name. But you must start. And one of the ways that you live a life of impact is that you must be somebody who talks big. You talk God and you talk boldly. Open your mouth wide and I will fill it. God cannot use timidity. Humility is not equal to timidity, right? That you are faking humility when you are timid. You are not a humble person. If God tells you stand strong and you are cowering down like a coward, that's arrogance. And if you begin to beg men for what God has promised to give you, that's ignorance as well. So you must talk boldly, you must talk big, and you must talk God if you're going to live a life of impact and legacy. Because God always backs his word up with performance. Luke 1 verse 45 said that verse is an incredible statement. It said, blessed is she, you can put your name there, blessed is she who believes, for there will be a performance of those things spoken to them of the Lord. We have a Purpose Discovery mobile app. It's on Google Play Store. And for us to build that application, it cost us several thousands of dollars. And I remember I began to announce it first. I spoke about it. I talked about it so much until my subconscious believed, until I began to dream about it. And I overwhelmed the fear of the bill by continuously talking about it, by looking at it, by saying it. Check other people's apps, and like the people that have mobile apps, they have just one head on their necks. That I'm going to break, I'm going to set a new record, I'm going to break history. And that's why I love the lady called Hilda Bassi. She set a Guinness Book of Record for the longest for cookathon, and now she has created a new one by cooking the largest pot of jollof rice. So shout out to you, Hilda Bassi. We celebrate those kind of achievements because they are original, they are authentic. She is living out her purpose as a chef. She's such an amazing inspiration to this generation, and that is what it means to live for more. You are made for more. You are made to set records, create records, and break records back to back. Your life must evolve from one level of glory to another. If you are still facing the same challenge you faced 14, 15 years ago, then you are not making motion. You are not making progress in the journey of purpose. You must be faith-driven and not fact-driven. So these are the 4 points. And the last point is, if you are going to live a life of impact, you must stay connected to God. You must stay connected to God. I've shared 4 points. This acronym is coined into the word FACTS, FACTS, right? And F stands for face it, face your fears. David faced Goliath, faced him head on, asked for the reward. He asked around in the camp of the soldiers, what is the reward for the guy that's going to face this problem and solve it? That's going to inspire you. It's going to give you inspiration. Then you create a victory list. Victory list is necessary, a record of the things God has done for you or done for other people. If he has done it for other people, he's going to do it for you. If you connect your faith to the Most High, right? You create a victory list. Then letter T, you talk boldly, you talk big, and you talk God. And the last but not the least, you have to stay connected to the Most High God. Living a life of impact, living a life of legacy is doing what a lot of people will call unpopular, right? When God wants to use you, he's going to use you to set a path, be a pathfinder, be a trailblazer, be a pioneer into something, maybe something that was already existing. You might need to make it better. Something that was already better, you might need to take it to a totally different level, or you may be starting something totally new altogether. But you see, God is the author and the finisher of your destiny, right? And when you allow God, your author of life, to tutor you, you will become an authority in life. He's already at the end of your life. So he knows where you ought to end your race. If you end your race at the 400-meter mark, meanwhile, God predestined you to be a 1,500-meter runner. Even though you might be applauded by human beings for crossing the 400-meter line, but that was not your finish line, right? God is the one that determines when you are finished. And the vision that he places in your heart will always be bigger than you when you receive it. It's going to be bigger than you when you receive it. If you are trying to do something that you can handle by yourself, then it's not God. Dust your hand off that kind of project and throw it into the trash bin. When you receive a vision from God, the first thing that is going to do to you is going to overwhelm you. It will be extremely bigger than the person that you were or that person that you currently are. It's going to humble you to go to God in prayer. It's going to humble you to start a life of praying and fasting. If it's a vision that you receive from God, it will humble you. The next thing it's going to do to you is going to help. It's going to force you, if you are shy, it's going to force you to learn people's skills. It's going to help you to develop social skills, because God usually puts your solutions in human beings. The solutions to your prayer, the answers to your prayers will always be brought to you in human beings. That's why I have 3 principles that is called the 3 P's. The 3 P's. The 3 P's of pursuing your purpose. You must realize that in every place there are people, and in every person there are possibilities. In every place there are people, in every person there are possibilities. So you must have good etiquette, kingdom etiquette. You can follow my wife's page, or just send her a DM if you want a one-on-one coaching on kingdom etiquette, how your social skills can create opportunities for you anywhere you are. So you must be connected to God. You must stay connected to God if you're going to live a life of impact. Every time that God has taken our vision into new levels, new seasons, all the blessings I've enjoyed has been largely connected to my connectivity with God. He will just impress upon my heart, talk to that person, call this woman, call that man, don't go out today. He's even the one that impressed upon my heart to do this Instagram live, and I'm sure it's blessing somebody. At least if one person is blessed, then my obedience is complete. So I am excited because the journey of the Purpose Center is just beginning. We are just getting into our global sphere of impact in this season. I'm trusting God that the same thing that's happened through our work here in Nigeria, Amuodofin, Lagos, Benin, we've been to a few places in Nigeria, is now going to spread globally. So you can invite us to come host this very anointed inspirational conferences for your young people in any nation of the world. And my team and I will be extremely glad and privileged to come host those meetings in your cities. You can also invite us to come run the Purpose Discovery Academy for your school for your teenagers in the school, young people in university. We can even come equip your staff through our very exquisite, empowering, and very, very life-changing life skills trainings. If you have an organization and you are a CEO, the power of purpose is so undeniable that when you connect either an individual or an organization to their core purpose, they begin to deploy their greatness at a more proficient height. So these are the 5 points I have for you this evening that I believe if you use them and reuse them, you will live a life of impact, you will live a life of contribution, and by the end of your life, you would have lived a life of legacy. Legacy simply means long-lasting impact of particular events or actions that took place in the past or of a person's life. Never ever forget that all men eventually die, but some never really lived. Exceed as you proceed. My name is Mr. Purpose. God bless you.